2021 XXI with Asabi Goodman.
Hi guys.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Thanks for having me today.
Great.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Thanks, yeah.
I've
you
seen a lot of your stuff.
too. Oh no.
It's been good.
That's good to hear.
Very lovely voice.
I thank you. Thank you so much.
And you said you do a mean tambourine too.
I do. I didn't bring it though because you said you had some. Yeah. So,
Yeah, if you ever want to grab one, just behind you there.
yes, lots of them. Very
There's
cool.
a tambourine surrounding those oranges.
I see,
Just
yes.
there too.
I saw that. Very nice. Very nice.
Golden. So, give us a bit of a rundown on your origin story.
Oh my gosh, my origin story. It's really weird. So basically, I'm American, if you couldn't pick up from the accent. Most people do question that.
It sounds fairly generalised, your accent.
It is.
Where
It's
does
a
it
very
come from?
general. So I was born in Ohio. Had nothing to do with my accent. I lived in Missouri. Again, nothing. I grew up in Oklahoma. But I was classically trained from the time I was about 8 until 18 in voice. And they're really particular about enunciation and pronunciation and what have you. So
Pronunciation.
nounce.
Pronounce.
We say nounce.
Yeah, it's spelled nunce.
Nounce. It's O-U-N.
Maybe in the US. Maybe in the US. In traditional British English. it's
Pronunciation.
If you want to get full transatlantic.
Oh, okay,
You might
yes,
have to
well
work on
then,
that one.
yeah, no. I never speak with a transatlantic accent unless I'm making fun of my housemate and then I talk to her like this. And
Or
she...
commentating the cricket.
Yes, oh, the cricket, that was a great hit. Yeah, exactly. So I have this very generic, we call a non-regional dialect in American. I've played newscasters before on short films and things like that.
Nice.
So I'm from Oklahoma, which is it's in the middle, so it's right in the center of the country. It's in the geographic center of the lower 48, and it's a very boring, it's not boring. It's
They've got grass there though.
They do have grass, yes. We have.
Unlike the centre of Australia.
Yeah, well, yeah. We do have some red earth. The further west you go, it gets a bit drier and a bit more red, and you start getting towards that arid desert of Arizona and Colorado areas. Let's see, what else can I say about Oklahoma? We have buffalo.
Nice.
Wild buffalo. I've eaten buffalo.
I've shot a few
Apologies.
on Red Dead.
Is that a game?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't know anything about
Cowboy
games.
game.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yes, so yes, we do have buffalo there. And they're tasty. They're very, very good
Cool.
to eat.
I'd love to
Oh,
eat one.
it'd take you ages to eat a buffalo. They're massive.
It would, yeah, they're massive. But we have a
How
lovely...
big's your freezer?
Oh, it's not that big. I usually just go to a restaurant.
So you haven't hunted them yourself?
Oh, no. But we do have a reserve up there where they kind of roam free and you can drive through it and you can see them. And I have had a buffalo stick its head in my car. That was a lot of fun. They're big. Their heads are like, yes, they're massive.
Do they drill?
They probably do. They
Did it
probably
drill
do.
in your car?
No.
No, that's
No.
good.
Yeah, no, I didn't get any buffalo anything in my car. Not even a burger. So, yeah, ate the burger at the restaurant. So I grew up in Oklahoma, very nerdy. I went to the top high school in the state. I was very...
What's the name of that?
Booker T. Washington High School, of course.
Booker T. Washington High School.
Yes. Do you know who Booker T. Washington is?
I know who Booker T.
I know who
His name is
George
Booker T.
Washington is.
Washington.
Who's Booker T?
The organ player.
Oh, yes, Booker T. Jones.
Booker T. Jones.
Yes. So he's named after Booker T. Washington.
Washington.
Washington, yes. He was an American civil rights leader. I think he was born in 1856, so born into slavery, but only from a very young age, and he basically traveled around the country and the world in the early 20th century talking about the rights, the civil rights of blacks.
So he's a bit like a Martin Luther King.
Yeah, yes, and he was big on anti-lynchings. Lynchings were huge back then, so he and a number of other people were rallying the country to put together anti-lynching legislation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of American history here. We know
No.
George Washington
Yes,
and Martin
yes.
Luther King.
And we've heard
Yeah.
of the lynchings and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. I think everybody has, unfortunately. It's a sad part of our history, but still something that happened. So I went to Booker T. Washington High School.
Did you say Booker T. Washington was born in Oklahoma?
No. Oh gosh, I don't know where he might have been Mississippi maybe or Alabama. I'm not sure where he. Yeah, I'm not sure where he was born, but in the South, obviously.
Yeah.
It's where we had slavery, and that was. Well, it wasn't really a math and science high school because we also had a heavy focus on the arts. And I was in jazz band, I was in marching band for a year, and I only did that for a couple of years, and then I started to focus more on math and science. So very math and science heavy. I ended up going to university at the University of Southern California, where I studied chemical engineering. So I have a degree in chemical engineering. I also studied East Asian languages and cultures because I had a love for Japan and all things Japanese. So I started speaking or studying Japanese when I was about 12.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. Exactly. Hajimemashite.
Uno, dos, no.
No, that's Spanish, darling.
Ichi,
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly.
And if you want to defend yourself, Ippon Sianaga.
Yeah.
I like all things Japanese.
Yes, exactly. So
Ippon Sianagi.
yeah.
Probably got the accent wrong.
It's all right. Accents are hard. So I studied, chemical engineering and Japanese. I spent a semester at Tokyo International University.
Oh, wow.
And then I came back to the U.S. and I went to work for an oil and gas company. Good times, yes.
wow.
So I went to work for Texaco.
Where was that? Texaco.
Yes,
Where
this was
did
in
you- where did you
California.
actually live?
What do you do for them?
I was a production engineer. So I had a 1/4 acre of a field with about 300 wells and basically doing asset management on wells. So I made sure they kept pumping, made sure I tried to increase the amount of oil that we pulled out of them. It was all oil wells, so it's all
Was
heavy
there a lot
oil.
of travel?
No,
No?
not at that stage,
Okay.
no. There was hardly any.
Was it enjoyable work or was it boring?
I think everything I do, I make it fun.
Oh, good.
Because why do it, right? If you're not going to enjoy what you do, why are you there? So I found ways to enjoy it. So I had a team, I had some operators, I had a foreman, a reservoir engineer, and I always tried to make projects that people would enjoy doing. Because I'm like, I have to be there every day. I have to be there from 6:30 in the morning until 5 o'clock in the evening. If I'm going to be there every day, 5 days a week, I might as well enjoy myself. I might as well make it fun. So I always try to make things fun.
And it's got a refinery, you said?
There was a refinery, but I was working upstream. Oh, so we didn't have a refinery.
So you're
that
in
field.
the drawing out
Yes.
area?
Yes. So there's two separate sides. So there's the upstream side, which is closest to the wellhead, and then there's the downstream side, which is the refining. So after you pull all of the oil or gas or whatever you're producing out of the field, you separate it, you treat it, and then you send it down to the refinery where they make different products out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I never worked downstream. I've been offered jobs in downstream, but there was a facility in Los Angeles that had offered me a job and they had an explosion. And I was like, I'm not going to work in an environment that could potentially explode. No one died, but still, just the risk and having to wear hazmat suits and...
So that's what made
Yeah.
you think, maybe
I'm
not.
just going to stay upstream. Yeah.
Right.
And there was a kind of this little belief that the closer you are to the wellhead, the safer you are in terms of when they do layoffs and that sort of thing. So.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah, because you're right at the head of where everything gets produced. So,
Right.
yeah, so I was happy to work upstream. And then I did get laid off. I got laid off in, oh my God, what year was that? 2001, maybe? And we had merged with Chevron. And so technically I worked for Chevron for about a year. And then I got laid off, which was a good thing because I was kind of ready to be out of oil and gas, and I really wasn't sure what I was going to do. And they had a really good package that they were giving us, so I was like, oh, it'd be good to get all that money, but then I'd have to find a new job. Oh, what's going to happen? Well, I'll deal with it, So the company actually put together
Here they call it redundancy.
Yes, here they
Do
call
they
it
call it the
redundancy.
same thing there?
We call it layoffs.
Oh, okay.
Layoffs in America. Yeah.
Do you get redundancy payouts in America?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we got a
Same
really,
thing.
we call it a package.
Right
Yeah.
on.
So we got a really good package, and they told us up front what the package was going to be. So about a year after the companies had merged, they then, the president of the company, or the CEO of the company came in and he said, all right, everyone, we have too many people, because we had one company that had like 50,000 people, another that had like 40,000, and they both came together, and there's lots of overlap. And so they they allowed the union members to make a decision whether or not they wanted the package because it was really attractive. And then for those of us who weren't union, they said, well, you don't really get a say, but just talk to your manager. And I was actually having some issues with a coworker who was bullying. And I was kind of like, well, what do I do? I'm sort of at the end of this. So I did sort of sit with my manager and I said, look, if you guys are struggling trying to figure out who to lay off, I'm happy to go. And he said, are you sure? And I said, yeah, I'm happy to go. And he's like, okay. And so I was laid off. But in the meantime, I did have another job lined up.
Were you singing back then?
Yes, but not in the same way that I sing now.
Right.
So I was doing mostly chorale singing, so singing with choirs.
Oh, yes.
I sang with a little jazz quintet at the local university. So I wasn't a university student, but one of their students was like, oh, we should get this woman, she's really good. So they let me sing with them as well. And that was kind of my first introduction to singing jazz music. And it was, and I was doing some musical theater as well. So I'd gone to this singing contest, and I just assumed, like, it was run by a radio station. I was new to this town. I didn't know anyone other than the people I worked with. And I just thought, oh, I'll just go and sing a song. No big deal. But
Do you remember what you sang?
yes.
What did you sing?
Because they made everybody sing the same song.
Yeah, right.
And it was Seasons of Love from Rent, from the musical Rent. Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know, even now, well, I probably know more musical theater than the average person, but in terms of like musical theater people, I know nothing. And so I get there, and everybody had been given a run through, like the first time, like, oh yeah, I'd go practice it. And so I get there and I'm like signing up. Yeah, I want to sing. What songs do I get to choose? And they're like, oh, no. Everybody sings the same song. And I was like, oh. Okay, what song is it? Because now I'm freaking out, like, I don't know any musical theater, I have no idea. And it just happened to be literally the one song that I knew. And so I was like, oh, okay. And so because I was the last one to show up, everybody got to hear my little practice, but I didn't hear anybody else's. So I did my little practice, and everyone was like, oh, that's really good. And I'm like, okay, thanks. And then, of course, I'm the last one to show up, so I'm the last one to perform. So then I sat through and I watched everyone else, and I'm like, oh, I might not win this. Shit. So then I got up and I was like, okay, it's now or never, just sing your heart out. And I sang, and I won the contest.
Actually, that's interesting, because from a psychology perspective, you're probably very fortunate to go last.
Yes.
People remember the first and the last more than
I always
the middle.
prefer to go first, man. Like, if I'm thinking, like, talking about auditions at the moment, but like if there's a performance or an exam or anything like that, I just want it. Even like if I'm sitting by the side of the stage waiting to go on, I'm just like, I can't think about anything else about wanting to play music.
Do you have some nerves there? Do you get a little bit nervous?
Not with gigs, but with like exams and shit. Like if I've got to do something really out of the ordinary, I wouldn't want to go last and having seen everything, warts and all, and go, oh fuck, now
I have to go.
Now it's me, just me, like for an audition like that. That'd be,
I always just trust myself. So if I've rehearsed or practiced for, say, an audition, because I do a lot of auditions, I don't care what anybody else does, because I know me and I know what I've rehearsed and practiced.
I do the same at a gig.
Yeah.
But did you get the part?
Not always. There's sometimes I do get the part, but
that's different. If it's the actual performance time, like make me the feature, you know.
But there are a lot of things that go into why you don't get a part, and as an actor, we deal with a lot of rejection. Oh my God, so much. And you have to, trust that yes, you're a good performer, you're a good singer, you're a good actress, and there are other things that play into why you may not have gotten a role.
Like being in the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
So be thankful if you're first or last. Because you're remembered more than the ones in the middle.
Yes, yeah. Or you could like completely fuck it up and they're just like, oh, that person went first. Done. So it happens. It does happen.
I see what you mean. Like, it's better to go last probably because you've got the feedback from
I think it's
all the other guys.
Better to be memorable. Just be memorable, because it doesn't matter if you go first, last, in the middle, whatever. If you are memorable, they're gonna remember regardless of when you perform.
Yeah, for sure. Doesn't mean you don't have a chance if you're in the middle.
You have no chance in the middle. No. No, I just try to be memorable. That's and do my best, you know, because you can only do your best. You can never do the best for anyone else. It's only for yourself. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do, and casting directors, that's all they expect. They just want to see you do you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because that's what I've been told. I don't know.
And since being in Australia, how are you? What are a lot of your performances like here?
I do. So I sing with a number of bands, and we play anything from private parties, birthdays, weddings, anniversary parties, to festivals and RSLs. I do a lot of RSL work.
How many cancellations have you had? Thanks to
Jesus, everything.
our little friend here.
Everything from, let's see, my first canceled gig, and it was really startling because I was like, what? Beginning of March, I was supposed to fly down to Melbourne to do this massive conference performance with one of my cover bands, and they got canceled. It's like third week of Feb. And I was like, what's going on? Why are they canceling the gig? I'm like, oh, this virus in China, because it hadn't really spread. At least it might have spread to Europe, but it hadn't really gotten out much here. Nothing, we hadn't done anything yet. And I thought, well, that's silly. It's like, it's happening in China. Why are they canceling our gig? It's a massive IT company. They had a lot of people coming from China. So they were like, it's too risky. I'm going to cancel it. So that was the first cancellation. And then literally a week after that, they all just started coming in, just all the cancellations. And then I did a festival and an RSL gig on the same day, and that wasn't the last gig. I did 2 more gigs after that, but those were the last big gigs that I did.
Right.
And after that, that's when the Prime Minister... Excuse me, that was in March. So that was
March.
Yeah. So March. When did that announcement come out? The 8th of March. They announced nothing over 500.
Yeah.
And that just pretty much canceled everything, except for a couple. I had a wedding that still went ahead. And
What is the rule on weddings now? 10?
10. Yeah, I think it's 5 or 10. It's really small. It's a very small number. And these people at this wedding were not practicing any social distancing whatsoever. They were just like, ah, all over. And they were like, oh, no, it'll be fine. I'm like, no, it won't. But did it anyway. It's still healthy. Thank God.
Bleeding out the eyes yet?
Not yet. No respiratory illnesses yet. Yeah, so, and I did a pub gig the week before that as well. So those were the last 2 gigs that I did, aside from some online gigs that I've done.
Oh, so you're getting on the online?
Yes,
A lot of people are doing that now.
Yeah, so we did it. I think we did it right after. Oh, why am I Minnie? I can't remember her name. Blues guitarist. So she did it on the Wednesday, and then we did ours on Thursday, and then after that, it just kind of like floodgates open. Which is why I think we did so well financially with that first one, because it was still very new. Not a lot of people had done them.
Do you have online plugs that you can give out to these guys?
Yes. Let's see. I can plug my website. Actually, it's not a website, it's a Facebook page. So it's facebook.com/Asabi Elizabeth. And...
Can you say that again? That was very hard.
Was it hard?
Yeah. Tell us that one again. That's pretty long.
Facebook.com/Asabi Elizabeth.
Asabi Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Facebook.com/Asabi Elizabeth.
Yes. So Elizabeth is my middle
Don't
name.
say that 10 times fast.
No, Asabi Elizabeth.
That's my wife's middle name, you know.
Is it? Elizabeth is a very popular middle name,
Yeah.
especially if you were born in the 70s. So many women with that middle name in the 70s. I'm named after my grandmother. Her name was Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. My paternal grandmother. Let's see, what else can I plug? I've got a new podcast that's coming up.
Cool.
We're still recording some episodes. We're doing a bit of batch recording.
What's that one called?
It's
It's called Wine and Sympathy.
Wine and Sympathy.
Wine
So what's
and
your
Sympathy,
what's
yes.
your main bag with your podcast? What's your focus?
So 2 women in their 40s talking about life and all things in entertainment, in healing. Yeah, gossip. It's a gossip podcast, basically. But
Did
it's
you
a
call it
fun
gossip?
one. No.
What's
It's called
it
Wine and Sympathy.
Wine and Sympathy.
Yeah.
And gossip.
Yes, there's a little bit of gossip. No, but we have some interesting guests. We talk to people. Right now, we are saying that the podcast will be fortnightly, but we've been approached by a number of people who'd like to come on as guests on the podcast. So we're just trying to get all of that organized. And we have phone call-ins, so people can call us and we can do the interview over the phone. So we've got that set up going.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we aim for weekly, but
as
the
it
Corona thing can be a bit of a pain.
exactly. I'm impressed that we were able to even get together.
Yeah.
So many people are like, no, I'm just gonna self-isolate, which I understand and I agree with. I think self-isolation is good and it should happen, but you know.
We're still allowed 10 people here, though.
No, I don't think we are anymore.
We are, because this
Yeah.
is literally the basement of my house.
Oh, okay.
We are indoors at the basement of my house.
Yes.
And they've only just put a restriction on that. You can have
I thought it was
max
2.
10 people
Oh.
at your house.
No, the two is if you want to go to the
public place.
shop right now,
Oh,
I can
right.
walk with you,
Yeah.
but he's got to stay here.
This is my house, man.
Oh.
This is where I've been studying. Like, we've gone online
Right.
classes.
Okay.
This is literally my house.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was
right.
Two
maybe
people things.
it must
public.
Yeah. This isn't
Yeah.
a public place, man.
because I was pretty sure I heard the Prime Minister say, if you want to have people over for dinner, don't do it. You can't do it. But it might be in different states. I know one of the
Okay.
weird things I
You're just
think
wigging out.
maybe what I think is weird about Australia is that the government will say one thing and then they'll say, but states, you can do.
There is
like,
a lot of misinformation.
yeah, you can do whatever you like, or we'll leave it up to you, but this is what we recommend. There's lots of recommendation here
Yeah.
as opposed to this is what you should do. A regulation, as we call it. So that's
But people are getting arrested. What was your story about the dude at Ipswich?
Oh, yeah, there's a guy at Redbank that was recently diagnosed with it.
Yeah.
And he knew he was toxic.
Mm-hmm.
And they caught him walking around the local shopping centre.
Oh my god.
And so there's this whole thing, he got arrested. Like,
Did he, like, was he, mm-hmm.
Because he wasn't doing the 2 weeks.
Well,
at home
yeah,
thing.
he has to
he's
isolate for 2
supposed
weeks.
to isolate.
Yeah.
He's out there, he's not
Does he
spitting
live
on
by
it.
himself?
Who knows?
Well, see,
He
that's
could have
the
been going
thing, you don't-
stir crazy. He could
You
have
don't
been
have to.
literally crazy, but
Yeah. You don't have to spit or, like, literally, if you have the virus, it lingers on things.
yeah, it's a very
So-
sticky
That's what
one.
they say. Yeah, that's what they're saying.
So, like, even if I had it right now, like, there's nothing I could do to stop myself from passing it to you guys. I don't
Yeah,
have
all
it.
we can do is just
Yeah.
wash our
Wash our
hands,
hands.
wash our own dishes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you're up for a tongue kiss, that's fine.
Wash the
I don't think
table.
your wife would be happy with
No,
that.
my wife wouldn't be happy, but Jeremy might be happy.
Yeah.
I don't know. You'd have to
That's
ask
for
him.
another
No, let's-
podcast.
I think we should wait
We'll ask
until
that
after
guy.
the COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, alrighty. Woohoo. Yeah, no, it is, the restrictions are very strange because I hear the Prime Minister say one thing, but then it's like, refer to your state for
Yeah.
what the rules are, and then I'm like, well, Queensland, what are we doing? She'll be right, mate.
Yeah, we're all asking the same questions.
Mm.
Our next guest was wondering about that as well.
Mm. Yeah.
You know, the whole, what are the actual rules
Yes.
so we don't get in trouble?
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, I know people are still going out and doing, like, working, even if they're non-essential. I don't know that a lot of places, well, there's some places have shut. Some places are allowing their people to work from home. But I honestly have no idea what's going, like, I'm gonna run by Bunnings after this. So, I need to get some citronella candles because the mosquitoes do not quit.
Mm.
They do not quit.
Especially in Brisbane.
viruses too.
Yeah,
So you
that's
don't really
right.
wanna give it to
Malaria.
them.
Yeah, no. Oh God, no. Yeah, kill
Yes.
every mosquito.
Brisbane's good for mozzies.
Mm.
I remember when I was a kid, I read in some science book that mosquitoes, it's only the females that suck blood, and the only reason that they do that is to fertilize their own eggs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
And so I was.
What do the males do?
At first, I was just like, oh, well, they're just trying to have kids. And then it's like, hang on, more mosquitoes?
Yeah, exactly.
Kill them.
They're gross, and I think it's gross
Disgusting.
when one has been biting you, and you finally realize, you know, and then you go and you smack it and it's just full of blood. And you're
Full
like,
of blood. That's
so
it.
gross.
Like that's such
So
a
gross.
sign. It's like you're not the first blood that this thing has been sucking tonight.
Yes,
Right? So
yeah.
It's blood.
Yeah.
Dog's
Oh.
blood,
So
cat's
gross.
blood,
Who knows?
your blood.
Ooh.
Yeah, mosquitoes are dangerous, man. They're dangerous things.
They don't carry corona though.
Not yet.
Not
Maybe
yet.
Corona. Maybe SARS 3.
SARS
SARS 3.
I don't even know. I know they do carry malaria. That's not all mosquitoes. I think it's a certain type of mosquito, I believe, that carries malaria.
Yeah, Brisbane they don't carry any of those. You've got to
Just
go up north.
disgusting.
Oh,
Like if you go to Cairns or Townsville,
Really?
you can get the dengue fever.
yes, I have heard
Tropical.
that.
I think there might be
tropical.
malaria there too, I'm not sure.
Oh,
But
that's,
definitely dengue fever.
yeah,
You hear about that every...
yes.
Every
I had a
rainy
friend who
season.
had that.
And what's the other one that they carry? The one that makes you like really lethargic. It's one of those fevers.
It's not Lyme disease.
No.
Ross River.
Lost River fever.
Yeah.
Lyme disease is your American
Ticks.
one.
Is our
Do we
voice
have
now.
Lyme disease?
Yes.
Do we?
Yes, we do. Although doctors here will tell you that it doesn't exist, but it does.
In Australia?
Yeah. I've had a few friends that have had it here, and doctors will refuse to treat it because it doesn't exist in Australia.
Yeah, that doesn't...
Huge misconception. Huge.
Interesting.
Very huge.
Well, it's still a relatively a largely unknown virus. Like, they still don't know... They know that ticks carry it,
Yeah.
but they don't know the mode of operation of the virus or
I
something,
know.
or they find it hard to detect as well. They don't
I
have a
don't know.
specific test.
I've known a number of people in America that have had it, and you can get tested for it.
You can?
I had a friend who was suffering from it, and after they'd exhausted all the tests and he'd done some of his own research, he came to them and he said, it might be this, and they said, no, it can't be. So he left and went home. He was from the UK, and he went back to the UK, immediately got tested for it there, and that's exactly what it was.
Okay,
So-
so you just need to get the right test, so it's not misdiagnosed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know what's happening around that. It sounds silly to me to just blanketly say we don't have that here, therefore we're not going to test for it, because people are so mobile now that you could go somewhere and get it and then come home and have it.
And you said a close friend.
Yeah, this was a close friend.
What were their symptoms?
I have no idea. He was lethargic. That was the main one.
Oh, okay.
He collapsed a number of times, and then he finally went home because he wasn't getting the right medical treatment.
It was like a chronic fatigue.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
didn't feel like doing anything.
So, and he's better now. He's come back for a visit a couple of times, so I've seen him, and he's healthy and he looks good, and yeah, he's fine. But he's decided to stay in the UK.
Good old diseases.
Aren't they great?
Topical conversation about
Yeah.
diseases, isn't it?
Lots of diseases going around. We're all full of them.
Yeah. Some more than others.
Again, another podcast.
Oh, you're talking about the sexy disease.
Is that where your mind went?